The show is Outside the Book, coming to you from the Southern Kentucky Festival of Books, our annual installment where we take you behind the covers of that book and actually into the mind of the writers and illustrators. We're joined by Jarrett Krosoczka.
Yes, very nicely done, Barbara.
Right, who is well known for his Lunch Lady series. You're an illustrator, you have that kind of background, but then you've taken it one step further and incorporated it into this Lunch Lady series, which is extremely popular.
Thank you.
How does one decide? Was there a lunch lady in your past that you thought, I'm going to write about her?
Well, what happened was, it was way back in the fall of 2001. And my first picture book had just been published. So I returned to my old elementary school in Worcester, Massachusetts to talk to the kids there about writing and illustrating. And when I was there and I was setting up in the cafetorium, you know, half cafeteria, half auditorium, and it was so long ago, I literally had my slide carousel that I had to screw into like the old-fashioned slide projector, and the slides would drop in. While I was setting up for the presentation, and I looked across the room and I saw a lady from my past, which was my old lunch lady from when I was a child, and she was still working there. Jeannie Corriglia. So I approached Jeannie and I said, you know, hi Jeannie, how are you? And now in retrospect, I realize it's one of the cruelest things you can do to an old teacher or staff member from your old elementary school is to not offer your name as well right afterwards. Because then she actually mistook me for my uncle, who's 20 years my senior.
Ooh.
And
it was more trouble, I'm sure.
I'm sure that's why she remembered him. But it was amazing though that she did recognize me, and she could pull out this name of a student she had 30 years before that. But she started telling me about her grandkids. And it had never dawned on me that, yeah, right, she leaves the school and has a life that I'm not aware of. So I started thinking about, okay, what would lunch ladies be hiding? What would their secret be? You know, and I began to dream up a story about a lunch lady who fought crime. And so that's where it came from.
There you go, and apparently it resonates with the readers. And so, do you have to get inside the mind of a younger reader to? Oh
yeah, you know, when I got to writing the graphic novels, you know, got really into the heavy lifting of writing the books. I actually reread the comics that I wrote as a 5th grader, and I try to replicate the sort of the language I used then, you know, so that the books, the language is very direct. I'm not afraid to have the characters state the obvious, you know, and so because it's written with my 5th grade self in mind, you know, the 4th, 5th graders of the world today are connecting with it.
I love that. What's ahead for you? More lunch ladies?
I have a 10th lunch lady book, and for a good while that'll probably be the last one. I'll have 10 solid books, and someday I may get back to it. You know, be it 15 years from now or 3 years from now. I'm not really certain at this point. And I have a chapter book series coming out called Platypus Police Squad, and the first book in that series is called The Frog Who Croaked. And it's sort of like if you have an equal love for Frog and Toad are Friends and Lethal Weapon, like this is the book you've been waiting for. This is the book you've been waiting for. And if you love platypuses, this is your book.
Who doesn't love platypuses?
Yeah. And I have more picture books on the horizon as well.
Well, continued success.
Thank you, Barbara.
And thank you for sharing your story.
Sure.
We've been talking with Jarrett Krosoczka.